Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, please do me a favor and subscribe. That would really help us out. Now let's get to that interview. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. So excited today. I've got filmmaker, producer, Starr Session with me. So welcome, Starr.
Hi, how are you?
I think Starr Session sounds like somebody in showbiz.
Right? Meant for it.
It was meant for it. I mean, what else would you do? If you weren't a producer, what would you be doing?
Well, you got to live up to your name. So Hollywood was always calling.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not sure. I feel like it was just this direction or this direction to get to Hollywood.
You know, Starr Session is not like running an office or an accountant. That doesn't work.
No. So my parents were those 80s babies, or had me in the 80s. So
yeah.
Who knows what they were up to and how I got this name. They were having a good time. So.
The 80s were a lot of fun. I was a teenager in the 80s. That was a pretty good decade.
Yeah.
That's why everything's coming back.
It's circling around. I love it.
Although I think we've kind of moved on to the 90s now. You know, that's the fashion's kind of moved up a decade.
I agree with you.
And I'm okay with that, because when you really look at it, the 80s, the fashion was terrible. We loved it.
Yeah, tease that hair.
Oh my gosh, I had the best 80s hair. And I've said that several times on this program, because I didn't respect it. So one day it just left.
Right.
But back then it was feathered. You know, it was all bushed up like everybody wore. Oh, it was the best.
Love it.
It was the best, but it was so much hassle. So I was just like, I just wish it would just go. And then one day it did. And I was like, oh my gosh, I wish I had it back.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be careful what you wish for. Yeah. Oh yeah. Once it started thinning out, I was like, the heck with that. We'll get rid of it. So welcome, Starr. This is I'm excited to talk with you because I think it's such a neat project. But before we get into the web series, tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you get into the entertainment business? You know, what made you want to do that?
Well, I moved to Hollywood for dance. I was a dancer. And
very
then
nice.
I went through college and did journalism, and then found my love for television and film while I was in college. And that's where I realized that I love to produce and like make things happen, you know?
Yeah.
More than just many other things. Like I love seeing it come from a script. I love seeing casting people. I love getting the crew together. And then I love when we're on set and it's like action. And so I found my love in that, and the organization that you have to have for that, which is funny. If you know me, I'm not super organized, but I love organizing a project. I'm good at that.
Yeah.
But life is unorganized. But so it's all about like pulling it together and then like seeing the final project. So I really fell in love with that. So
yeah, I think that's really neat. And I think that's a different entry point than a lot of people have when they're trying to get into Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to come in knowing that you kind of like piecing it all together, overseeing the process. I think that's really good.
Yeah. So you figure out the cameras, in college you get to do all parts of it, right? And then you realize, well, I'm not good at folding up the cords, or I'm not good at that, but I did like this part of the process. And so it was fun figuring that out.
When you were dancing, what was your specialty for dance? What was your
back to dance? Oh gosh.
Yeah, what did you do, all the dance, or did you specialize in one of them?
Oh yeah, I was a technician. I really loved having really great technique. So ballet is the foundation of everything. But I love doing jazz, tap, ballet. And then of course, when you move to LA, you're going to be doing hip hop. So to do the music videos. Did you compete?
Were you doing competitions?
Oh, I was a competition girl all the way.
Yeah.
So
yeah, my oldest did the dance competitions up through high school. She stopped when she went to college. It was a lot of fun and a little exhausting, even from a parent's side.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a sport.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of hours of practice especially to be the best of the best. And that's what I always strive to do, is just win that first overall. So if you
Yeah.
know what I'm talking about, if you're in that.
Oh, I do.
World.
And those competitions, brutal. I mean, they'll start early in the day, sometimes last till late at night.
Oh yeah. So
yeah. It's a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
It is. now I'm watching my kid go through it. So
Well, that was going to be my next question. Did you pass on some of the dancing gene?
Oh yeah, my daughter's first recital was this weekend. So
very nice.
We're excited to get her into competition and keep getting her trained and just having the love for it.
I know. That's so much fun. So okay. So tell me a little bit about the producing side, because it means different things at different times. Some of like when you see a producer on a really big Hollywood film, a lot of times that's just somebody that maybe they invested in it, or maybe they just gave a little bit of advice for it. So they get a producer role. But when you get into a little bit smaller projects, producer wears all the hats. So tell us a little bit about, what's a typical, what you do during the life of a project.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it right on the nail. When you're doing a smaller project, you're kind of going from the beginning to the end of everything. Your hands are in so many different departments, and you're just kind of all over the place. And you don't know how you're going to just get through your 15-hour days.
That's right.
You do it. And so it was interesting because, our writer Summer brought us the script, and this was literally like November, October of the pandemic 2020.
Right.
And everyone wanted to be creative, and no one was having any success when it came to smaller budget, smaller projects, because they couldn't get them off the ground. So many COVID testing, we didn't know what COVID testing looked like.
Well,
you couldn't film in people's houses. It was just so many different protocols going through the different unions. And so since we were, working with unions and giving people these amazing jobs, we had to this was a different production than I've ever done in my life. And I don't think I'll ever do a production like it again. Hopefully not.
Hopefully. Yeah.
But definitely it adds to my resume that I can do a remote production where everyone on set was remote. Every one of the crew members were remote. And literally we just had a PA drop off equipment. We got approval from the unions to sanitize, drop off equipment to our actors' doors. And then we would get on Zoom, and the camera crew, the lighting department, all of them would take their turns helping the actors set up their own sets. It was like one of the coolest things you would ever do. As an actor, I heard it was the hardest thing they've ever done because usually you just show up to set, right? And so, so it was definitely a producing. Like, we had to figure out the technical side of how we're going to get this from paper, and how are we going to get this to people's homes? How are the actors willing to basically do every department, even though every department is telling them what to do, and then we had to go through the editing process and really pull the story together. And here we are finally giving it out to the world to see. And we're really
so the project is called Pandemic Pillow Talk.
Mm-hmm.
And have you released it, or are you getting ready to release it?
Oh yeah, head on over to YouTube. You can go to our website, pandemicpillowtalk.com. You can watch all of the episodes. There's 9 episodes. They're like 5 to 7 minutes long. I lied. They're 5 to 10 minutes long. But they're short and sweet, right? And so they're a cute little series where you can everyone can relate to one of the episodes, one of the stories. You can share it with a friend that did online dating during the pandemic, because it was a huge phenomenon when it was happening. Because it's how am I going to date and make connections and find people that people were lonely, but there's the comedy in it. And so that's what we did. It's not depressing. It's a comedy. It's so much fun. Everyone can relate because they either had a friend or knew a friend or can't believe this really actually happened in real life, because we pulled from real life stories and research to see the main character, Mackenzie, go on these online dates that were wild. And so
who came up with the idea? Because I think that's such a neat idea. To take what was happening to, all of us and turn that into a web series.
One of our investors, executive producers, was like, let's do something. And we had a spinoff called As in Kevin. And so the spinoff show, we were like, well, let's take this character of Mackenzie, who dated in the real world before the pandemic, and let's see where she is now. And it's like, that date where we left off, where it looked like it was going good, didn't land. And now she's in the pandemic, dating online. And
I love it.
More mishaps that we get to go through. So it was a good idea to like spin that. It's also an interesting, each episode has its own like topic and idea, because as we're, on Zoom sitting here trying to make this interesting, like a webinar, we had to figure out how to make this interesting and not like a webinar.
Well, that's right.
So there wasn't much camera movement, and how do we make this interesting? So when you watch it, you're going to see all those tips and tricks that we like worked in there to make it fun, and how to deal with the story.
Love it.
It was really cool. So.
Yeah, I love it. And I think it's a neat idea that you had to send the equipment to the actors, and then they had to set up their own set. I mean, that never happens.
Yeah, it was a long day.
Did you get on Zoom with them to help them set that up?
Yeah, so we used Zoom.
Yeah.
And that was basically set. So we would say, welcome to set. We'll see you on set. We would put people into their waiting room, go into the green room. We made it like super fun, like as if everyone was on set.
Of course.
In their green room. But how we filmed it is we sent them with iPads and iPhones, and they were filming themselves through a program called Filmic Pro. And that was able to get us those high quality settings. So we took it to the next level. So it was in 4K. We have really great quality.
It looks movie quality.
Yeah.
TV quality. It's really good.
But the idea was, let's just film it through Zoom. And then when we're testing this out with just us and the producers, we're like, oh, this is not looking good. Because we want it to be a good, if we're going to put money into this, like, what is the next thing? And then we found this program, and then we're deep diving into this. And our camera crew, the lighting department, the audio department, they were like, this is a cool app that we have where they can go into the app and see and help them and figure out the setting and the aperture. It was like literally high tech to the next level. And they were like, they also have that to add to their resume as well, as like some people were traveling, or not really traveling, it was pandemic, but some people who were working on set were able to chime in and help us work on set as well. So it was really a cool project to see everybody all over the world, people's houses in the background. And they can just roll out of bed and be on set. So
yeah, I love that. And I know you worked with our good friends, the Roberts. Eric and Eliza were on it, which they're terrific. I mean, they're just an absolute blast to work with. But how did that come about? How did you go about your casting?
Yeah, so we put out a casting notice like most series do. And what was interesting is this is back when it was all about the pods. So you only saw people in your pod. You only hung out with people in your pod. So we were looking for actors, 2 actors. A few episodes have a few actors together that had to be in pods. And so we were, of course, like, oh, great. Thanks for writing this into the script, Summer.
Well, yeah, that's true, because you had to be isolated.
Yeah, this was like deep 2020. So it was really interesting to put out these casting notices, to find 2 good actors who were in a pod together that were actually, great actors. So we have a few episodes that needed that. And we found it, which was awesome. And it was going through the tapes, we're like, this is cool. These are great. These aren't so great. And then you're looking for a mom and a dad, and boom, the Roberts submitted a casting. And so we were like, this is super cool. So Eric Roberts, his wife, Eliza Roberts, both submitted a casting tape. They were super committed. We casted them, of course, out of all the other actors that we found. And they were just super complimentary of the whole thing. They're like, this is the coolest. I mean, I've been on big productions, but this is like one of the coolest things, because each episode we did, we got better at it. You know, it's a learning curve. The first few episodes we were like, oh, that was rough. But it gets better when you're doing something that you've never done before. And
well, that's right. You get you cut down on the mistakes that you've already made before.
Right.
So the time speeds up.
Oh yeah. And so they were totally impressed, and that's a big compliment for all of the team, to have them on set and to fall in love with the project and be behind it 100%. So
yeah, that's so great. So when you started releasing it, did you release them like one at a time, or did you drop them all at once?
No, we have 2 episodes coming out each week. So depending on when this airs or when this goes live, all of the episodes should be out by the end of May. And the last episode is online dating on steroids. It is something you would never think would happen is happening. I don't want to spill any beans, but it's not like all the other episodes. So that's why that episode is a lot longer. But you want to see where it ends up. So
yeah, that's exciting and fun. So, okay. So any plans to take this for a season 2, or to shop it around to say, bring it to a streamer?
Yep. And that's the goal, bringing it to a streamer. You know, we want to, right now we're just releasing it because we created something really cool. And so we're like, let's just get it out there, and then let's start shopping it around. So it would be great if it got picked up and maybe had a limited series. Of course it wouldn't be, we couldn't go back in time and put the main character back in the pandemic, but we would kind of evolve it. So we have a first episode already written. So if you are sharing this or listening or watching, or you know someone that would like to pick something up like this, this is the series for you. And so Pandemic Pillow Talk is definitely something that can evolve into other stories, and we hope to pick it up.
Yeah, I love that idea, because with the 9 episodes, you're basically, I'm guessing the total runtime is probably around an hour or a little bit longer. I mean, that's almost like a pilot. Yeah.
So it sets up, and each episode is like, oh gosh, here we go. But it sets you up to fall in love with the main character, and you want her to find love. But you also see what it takes when you open up a Zoom and you kind of get personal with someone in their own home. Are they wearing pants? Are they, is someone walking behind them with no underwear on, or not with underwear on? So there's those funny snafus, people getting on a date and their tech not working. We kind of tried to put all of those pandemic comedy things that were happening in real life into the story, where you're like, hello, I can't hear you, but it's like, you're on mute. So we added those fun things in there as well.
Yeah, I think it's such a terrific idea. And it seems like, now even though we're still kind of dealing with it, we're far enough away from where we were all kind of isolated, that now we can look back and maybe laugh a little bit about it. So I think the timing on it is really good that you're putting it out.
Oh yeah. It feels like, oh gosh, that was so long ago, but it's all relatable. It's like, oh yeah, I remember that. Oh gosh, that was, we got through that together. So
it's amazing to me that you found a way to actually film during the pandemic.
That was super wild for us. But we did it. So we did it as a team, and our crew was super diverse, which was really awesome. We had all women directors, which we're super proud of. And then most of the crew were women. We just really wanted to make sure that we had a diverse crew that were able and look really strong, working in the union, able to really pull this story together. And it's really interesting, everyone's perspective, because it's kind of like reading a book and then watching it on
Yeah.
TV. So I'm reading the script and I'm like, I didn't read it that way, but I love the way she's directing them, or she saw it that way. So it's always interesting to see people's takes on.
Yeah, I think it's really great. So how did, a project, even on a smaller scale, has, it costs some money, has to be funded. So how did you go about, getting your funding? Did you do an online page or a GoFundMe, something like that? Or did you have investors?
We have an executive producer who funded it. And so it was interesting, she was very much believed in the project.
Yeah.
Wanted to see the project done. And she's super proud of it now, especially the fact that we just have such a diverse team. We had women on it. We had a women funder. We had women editors. We had it's really like something that we just kind of up-leveled each other on it and worked really hard on it. And so, yeah, we were lucky enough to have someone to fund it. Now we just need someone to pick it up and get it onto one of these amazing streaming sites. So
I love the fact that you took this time that we were all going through that was very difficult and you turned it into something positive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty great. And I love the fact that you got so many diverse people working on it. I think hopefully that's a model that we're going to see a lot more of going forward in the entertainment business.
Yeah, it was nice working with everyone. So
yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So as the producer, as one of the producers, what's next? So you've got, it's coming out. It should be all the way out by the end of May. What's next on your plate? Where do you go from there?
Well, we're going to be promoting it all summer, making sure that it gets in front of as many people as possible. Yeah. And so we're super excited about that. It's interesting because red carpets are kind of coming back up, but when it comes to the smaller festivals and things like that, people aren't meeting and gathering just as much. So this is something new for us as a team and a producing team to figure out what is the outlet that's best for this, because things are just different than what it used to be. And so right now we're just going to be promoting it all summer, sharing it to as many people as possible, and getting it in front of as many people as we can. So
can you submit web series to film festivals similar to like if you did a movie? Oh
yeah. So we're doing that circuit as well.
That's fun. I think that can be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love a good film festival. Yeah. So
yeah, well, that's great. Yeah, that's so terrific. So I'm really excited to sit down and watch it. I had planned to watch it before we talked, but then my wife was like, well, I want to watch that. Okay. And my daughter was like, well, I want to watch that. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to hook it up and watch we're going to get all the couples together and watch it here at the studio. So that's our weekend plans. So that'll be a night. We'll make it a whole big thing. We'll have some food and we'll bring everybody in. We'll check it out.
I love it. Like a date night. Thank you so much. And make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. We got to get those comments on there.
That's right.
And we've got to get it out there to the masses. So we appreciate that.
So give us the where we can find it and all the social media that goes along with it.
All good. So go to pandemic.pillowtalk.com. On there, you can find our episodes, what's coming up next. Don't forget to hit that reminder button if we still have a few more episodes, because are you going to remember next week? We hope so. But it comes out every Wednesday at 7 p.m. And we are super excited for you to make sure you share with your friends, leave a comment, and subscribe. It's Pandemic Pillow Talk on all social media. You can find us Facebook, Instagram, etc. So we'll see you there.
Yeah, that's so great. That's so great. Well, Starr, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time. I think it's such a terrific, fun project. I can't wait to watch it.
Thank you for having me. And
of course.
We'll see you on YouTube.
Absolutely. So one last thing before you go, where can we find you on social media?
Oh, Starr Session just as that. I'm everywhere at Starr Session, StarrSession. And
easy enough.
Easy enough, keeping it easy for the masses.
Well, thank you so much, Starr. Hold on one second. All right, so that was Starr Session, really talented woman. And the show is Pandemic Pillow Talks, a web series that you can watch on YouTube. And I hope you will check that out. We need to support these terrific smaller projects so that they can become bigger projects. And this one, I think, could lend itself to a series. So let's get out there and show our support. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Really appreciate you tuning in again this week. Definitely don't take that for granted. If you haven't done so yet, we could use the help on our YouTube channel, MeisterCon Pod. If you would like and subscribe, we'd really appreciate that. We are closing in on 400 episodes, which just amazes me. You can find all of them, audio and video, on our website, meistercon.com. You know, if we're doing anything in studio, like watching Pandemic Pillow Talk, if we're going on location, if we're covering a convention, all that'll be on the website, meistercon.com. Thank you guys so much. Until next time, bye, everybody.